Imagine your teacher scolding you for your wrongdoing. Everything said is true and you expect punishment. Doom and gloom surround you. And then he says, but.
The tension rises. You begin to wonder, is there any hope? What could he possibly say next?
Exactly. And that is what God offers as chapter 9 of Isaiah starts. But there will be no gloom for her who is in anguish. In fact, look at what God says through Isaiah in verse 2.
The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them has light shone.
You know what's even more amazing? Matthew tells us in chapter 4, 12 to 17, that this prophecy is fulfilled in Jesus' Galilean ministry.
So, what happens next?
Then Isaiah moves from the promise of light to the promise of joy.
Joy so soon after gloom?
Yes, God does an amazing thing. Just look at Isaiah chapter 9, verse 4.
This is joy from deliverance. What has happened to bring this dramatic change?
Someone has come, a very special someone. Look at verses 6 and 7.
For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace.
It makes sense now, right? Just when gloom threatened to overtake us, light came. And when light came, joy arrived as well, because of a little child,
A real child, completely human.
yet totally divine.
The hand of human kings may fail us, but this child, of the increase of his government and of peace, there will be no end.
However, after describing the child's rule, the tone changes. There is a contrast with what follows: the people's continued rebellion.
Yes, from verse 8 to the fourth verse of the 10th chapter, we see four waves of judgment, each ending with the same refrain. For all this, his anger has not turned away, and his hand is stretched out still.
God has provided his divine solution. We can surrender to him, or we can continue in our evil ways, in which case, God will judge us without mercy.
When the time came to enter the promised land, Israel stood on Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, and God gave them two choices.
Joshua says in chapter 24:15, "And if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your fathers served in the region beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord."
We too are given two choices. Will we receive the king's rule or rule ourselves?
The time to choose is now. So let us echo Joshua by saying, "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord."